Hello, parents. I'm so happy that today you are here to attend the Science Fair STEM Research Workshop organized by IVMax and CASPA. I'm Isabel Lee, Center Director from IVMax Education. First of all, I would like to greet you on behalf of all the staff of IVMax Education and the CASPA team. Now, let's welcome the chairwoman of CASPA Science and Engineering Fair, Executive Board Member of CASPA, Xiaoyan, to do a short introduction of the event. Welcome, Xiaoyan.
Thank you, Isabel.
Thank you.
Yeah, can I share my screen?
Sure, of course.
Oh, it's not a... Oh, just like this. Okay, can you see my screen, Isabel?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone, and thanks for Isabel's introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Xiaoyan. I'm the chairwoman of this CASPA Science and Engineering Fair and also the board member of CASPA. So on behalf of CASPA here, I would like to welcome all of you today to join our tonight's event, the STEM Research Workshop. So CASPA is one of the most influential semiconductor industry organization. Also is the volunteer-based non-for-profit organization. So since 2011, we just initiated Education Day once a year, wanted to fulfill the needs of our next generation. So year 2021 is a very special year because this year is CASPA's 30 years anniversary and the Education Day 10 years anniversary. So we wanted to, in order to celebrate this anniversary, we just initiate a new form. This is the CASPA Science and Engineering Fair. And our goal is to provide a platform to our students to have the access to STEM and also cultivate their interest and passion to STEM. Thanks to our volunteers and event sponsors to make this event happen. So like tonight, I'm really wanted to thank IVMax to our two speakers will prepare the very good the topic tonight. And last not the least, I wanted to welcome all of you to join our CASPA Science and Engineering Fair. So our registration deadline is the Saturday, July 31st, 2021, and the presentation day is Saturday, August 14, 2021. So thank you, Isabel, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I'm very appreciative to CASPA Xiaoyan for explaining science fair before the beginning of the workshop. Okay, could we change the PowerPoint? Yeah, thank you. Okay, next page. In today's workshop, there are 3 panelists. We have invited College Board Certified Instructor Dr. Trevor, Orange County Science and Engineering Fair Judge Dr. Yu, and IVMax founder Mr. Wei for today's workshop. Next page. Now let me introduce 2021 essay contest on California state legislation presented by San Diego, Northern California, and Orange County. The contest focused on debate and voted California Senate Bill SB 82 petty theft. Students who are interested in this contest, please contact Associate IVMax staff for application form by the end of September 20th. Next page. Next, we will introduce that why research projects are always preferred by prestigious schools. Two STEM experts and senior science fair judges will tell you how to choose the right research topic for junior and senior high school students. Let's welcome IVMS Education CEO, Mr. Wei, who is our most experienced counselor, to help us introduce why we should do research projects. What is important for research projects for college applications? Welcome to Mr. Wei.
Thank you, Xiaoyan, and thank you, Isabel, for today's event and for your kind introduction. So before the experts, Dr. Chen and Dr. Yu, get into the details, I just want to highlight a couple of things, right? Why are we doing research? Why is doing research such an important task for middle school and high school students, especially for high school students? Well, first, there are the obvious pragmatic reasons, right? Why we're doing research, right? Like listed as important reasons here on the slide, right? We can get to know the latest developments in the industry because by doing these research projects, we work with industry experts and university professors who are at the forefront of many of the engineering, science, technology, and mathematics fields. So those are some of the obvious reasons, right? Then, as some of the speakers already mentioned, many of these science fairs will give you an opportunity to develop great projects and in the end, write a great paper so they can be presented at professional conferences or published in professional journals. And as well as because of your relationship while working with these professors and industry experts, you'll get great recommendations from them in your later endeavors, whether it's applying to very competitive internships, research internships, or even in your college application process, these recommendations would be great help, right? So these are some of the obvious reasons why we encourage high school students to do research. But let's look at some of the even more important reasons. Dr. Yu, next page. As Yale president once said, when they look for students every year, when they form the freshman class, they really look for people, of course, with all the qualifications, EQ and IQ of the highest kind, so on and so forth. But most importantly, look at the last sentence, the highlighted, the one in the red, right? In other words, applicants with a concern for something larger than themselves. So great, you do science research, you had a great paper, you've done some great work, right? That demonstrates your abilities, your intellect, your commitment, so on and so forth. But more importantly, why did you do those research, right? We have to think about the bigger picture as well. So as we can see on the next page, Dr. Yu, all of the Franklin research projects, as we directed our students during this past summer and in previous years, as well as what Harvard has said, right? When they look for people, when they admit a freshman class, they want young people who care for others and for society at large, right? Concern for others and the common good, right? And in Stanford's words, we carry out these research projects because we have a larger mission, right? We wanted to address problems, challenges that society faces today. So kind of in the even broader sense, right, as the United Nations have declared on the next page, as everybody can see, the Sustainable Development Goals for humankind, right? The 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So these are the things we keep reminding our students when they do scientific research. It's really STEM with a P, right? We say STEM. What's STEM? It's STEM research efforts with a philanthropic end as well, right? So as you can tell here, many of the SDGs, right, to address hunger, poverty, education and healthcare opportunities, human rights, green environment, so on and so forth. So many worthwhile missions you can carry it out. So I hope while you aim for that first place gold prize in not only the CASPA Science Fair, but in many of the science fairs that you can participate in, you also keep in mind why you are doing this research, right? It is to address bigger problems and larger challenges. It's not just a means to an end, something that helps you get into a great college. And hopefully it's the beginning of a much longer and much more important journey you're going to carry out throughout your lifetime. So without further ado, let's welcome our experts, Dr. Yu and Dr. Trevor, to really give you the details of how to do such a science research project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wei, for your detailed introduction. Next, we would like to welcome Dr. Yu, who is the Orange County Science and Engineering Fair Judge, to introduce the next phase of the fair. Today, Dr. Yu will introduce to us how to choose the topic, how to collect data, how to choose a research field, how to explore research methods, and what are the judge criteria. Welcome to Dr. Yu.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, students and parents. So nice to meet you here. So I'm Dr. Yu. I used to be the judge of UC Science Fair, OC, the Orange County, so located in SoCal. And also I'm also a certified AP teachers, right, for AP Physics and AP Computer Science. So we have a lot of students who are interested in the STEM field, participate in the local science fairs, and we got a lot of good results. Okay, let's talk about the science fair itself. So back to the 1940s, science fair used to be called science talent search for high schoolers. So, well, in United States, the science fairs become popular in the early 1950s. So in OC, the Orange County is actually starting from 1956. So science fair allows students, like in the middle school or high schools, or even the elementary school, to complete the studies or experience or research in the science or engineering or math or so those areas. So I believe the goals of the science fair is for a student to answer a question based on the hypothesis. So students usually work on the science fair's project based on their work in the school. So therefore, okay, most of the science fair's projects usually is kind of a modified version of the existing experience. So don't think it's too fancy. Most of the project is just based on the existing experience or existing study. Okay. So, well, you can see that in this picture, it shows you some idea what's the science fairs look like. Okay, so you need to a board display or display board here, or they may have some other type of forms of report, you need to submit it. Or if you have some model you want to present to the professional during the science fair, is also permitted.
Dr. Yu?
Yes.
Yeah, 家长在群里说，可不可以你用中文简单的就每一张 slides 用中文大概的就是总结一下，好吧？因为有的家长可能听不懂英文，你全部英文的话，他可能就听不懂，你可能大概用中文解释一下。
OK， 好的，对，我就说来说一下这个关于这个叫科学博览会的一个基本的一个介绍了。对，那这个呢是开放于这个就是初中生、高中生甚至小学生 其实都是可以来参加的。就是之前呢，这个科技博览会呢是被定义为就是这个寻找在科技领域这个一些有才能的学生的这么一个平台。所以说从大概1950几年，然后就开始在美国非常盛行了。那其实各个地方呢都有它自己的这个 Science Fair， 大家可以在就是说各个 county 去寻找一下。OK， 那这里边大家可以看到的一些在这个 Science Fair 的一些情况吧，就是学生呢需要有自己的一个展板，同时呢也要递交这个学术报告给这些评委，还有一些专家进行评议。All right, so I would like to show some basic ways to choose the topics here. So think about you want to study or learn like what you want to study and what you want to learn about. The choice of the topic should be something that really interests you. Okay, so you might select a hobby like gardening, or some of the kids will like the model rocket or model car. So you can just use that to continue your investigation. Or if you don't have those hobby, you might consider to read more magazine or newspapers articles about the science related field, right? So that also can spark your interest as well. Okay, so on the right I show some of the place that you can find out some idea for your project. So you might read scientific books, like lab manuals, or Wikipedia's, right? So that is a pretty common resources and also free, and also some science periodicals, some journals, or there's one more thing that I do recommend. If you don't have any idea, you might visit the local science museum, right? So out there they may have a lot of like a display that might inspire you a lot. Okay, and also you can consult with the professional. Okay, so there's always have a good resources for you is your science teacher at school. Okay, so you can reach out to them to if you have some idea. Just also you can let them know that you have a plan to participate in the science fair and brainstorm together with them about your topics. OK， 那中文的话我就尽快说一下，就是这里边就是来讲了，就是如何比较好的去选题目，对吧？那肯定是从每个学生的兴趣出发。那同时呢，也可以通过他的一些去多读一些这个科技的杂志然后在网上去寻找一些，比如说像网络版的这个百科全书同时呢，也可以去这个当地的科技博物馆。去得到一些启发。Okay, so here are some questions will help you to identify your interests. I know there's it's happening a lot, very oftenly. Some students say, "What's your interest?" And they said, "No, I'm not interested in anything. It might happen." Okay, so this question might help you to narrow down your interest and your topics. Okay, so like the first, is there something in your environment that regularly capture your attention? There must have. Okay, try to figure it out. What is that? Has there been an interesting phenomenon in the news recently that got your thinking about science? Okay, so I believe you read news, right? You listen, like you watch the video on the YouTube. There might have some things might interest you, and this is might related to the science or technology. Okay, have you observed something in the world that make you wonder, or you want to read out those questions? Why this happen? Oh, what if I do something else? what is like if you try some alternative, right? So if there's phenomena or this object that's raise those questions or interesting you like that, this might be the right direction for you to explore. All right, so here I list out the topics shows in the OC science fairs. Okay, so totally they have out of like 20 categories. So the next step is you need to find out like which area or say which categories your topics or area of interest will fall into. Okay, so yeah, so during this process, you can also reach out to your science teachers about their advice. Okay, so you can just take a quick look about those categories. So you might find out the first 4 category here is about physics, right? Mechanics, aerodynamics, electricity, right? The next we have a specific category about math and software. So if you are interested in the math series or computer science algorithm, so this should be the category you selected. So nowadays, the machine learning or say the deep learning algorithm has received a lot more attention. So we do have a more student, like increased number of students work in this area. Okay, so next you have several categories about biology or chemistry, so like earth science, zoology, botany, biochemistries or biomedicals, right? So there also have some categories about psychology, right? So we do have a lot of student interest in the psychologies or sociologies, right? So like a behavioral science and cognitive science. There's some couple more category you might select about like energy or alternative energy, right? Yeah, so well, this is just the categories for the OC Science Fair. I believe like each science fair in your locations, they may have a different category. So before you actually select your topics, you need to check those category lists in the specific science fair first. OK， 这个我就用中文大概介绍一下，就是这个呢是大概有20个不同的分类，就是如果学生想去参加这个科技博览会的话，那第一个呢就根据所在地的这个科技博览会的它的一个分项，那找到自己感兴趣或准备做的这个 topic， 那这个是第一个。而且呢，一般在这个科技博览会它的主页上都会有一些以往的这个学生做过的一些 example， 就是一些例子，那可以呢给学生一些启发。Okay, so after you have some idea about the topic, so before you actually dive into your research or narrow down the right topics, so this is the important part. Just pause a little bit. So please determine so if this project is feasible. Okay, so this procedures definitely save you a lot of time if you are doing so. So you can see that. So you need to ask those questions. So can this project be complete within the amount of time allowed, right? So usually for the science fair, they will last for like 3-4 months. Okay, so so when you prepare or get starting with the your project, so you need to budget your time. Do you have sufficient time to finish up? Okay, if not, don't get started, right? And also there are some follow-up questions. So do you have enough time to just repeat the experience? So usually like a reliable result, you need to do a lot of like trials of experience. Just one is certainly not enough. Okay, and also there's some other thing you need to consider is like there are any like environmental concerns. Okay, do you have like access to the lab? Okay, do you have some certain budget to do your experience, right? Like, do you have like equipment? Okay, and also, it's not happen a lot, but also need to consider, do is your experience or your project is follow all the laws of like either state level or federal level. So if you have some concern or not sure about that, certainly you need to reach out to your science teacher or some professional to get the answer first. 好，这里边就是中文就很快的说一下，就是有一些很重要的在准备选题之前要特别注意的点。那第一就是说，比如说时间的控制，你能不能按时来完成？那还有的就是说一些对于比如说当地法规啊，包括环境啊这方面是不是有一定的限制？那还有呢，就是说有没有足够的时间跟这种精力，包括金钱去完成这些实验？那这一些都是在开始做这些选题之前要特别要注意的一些点。All right, so here I provide some questions help you to continue narrow down your topics. Okay, so like first you can, okay, if you're not pretty sure like which is the right one for you, but maybe you can list 5 questions about what you would like to know more. Okay, so what's the fascinating about those topics? Okay, and then from those 5, this number is up to you, right? You can just list 4, or you can list even more, like 6 or 8, right? And out of them, you pick up 2 of the question and show more details, right? So for each of the question, you write a statement and this like state the topic and even like the subtopics and what you want to know and what you want to study. Okay, and after you finish this round of works, and probably you should get the answer like which is the right one for suitable for you. Okay, and that can help you to make the decision to select the right topic for you. Okay. All right, so after the topic has been selected, you might continue to actually do some dirty work, right? You need to like do the research to continue. But here I would like to talk a little bit about the research sources. They may have basically 2 big part. One is called the primary sources. The other is called the secondary sources for you to collect the background information and all the data of the study. So the primary sources is the immediate or say first-hand account of topics. So from the person who actually have the direct connections of those data. Okay, so they may have like original documents or original research, or also the newspaper report, okay, by the reporter which actually witness of one specific event, okay, or some like speeches, or say the diary, or say the interviews, okay, or also the survey data, like census or the statistics. They're also considered as primary sources for your research. Okay, also there are some other like a photograph, a video, or some audios that capture in the event, right? So I also list some of the good resources online. You can reach out, let's say the Google Scholars, and also the scientific journals on the G-Source. And there's some 2 website is also pretty helpful. Like one is the zlab.org. They have plenty of like a paper journal you might access to, and also the archive.org, so which is hosted by the Cornell University's. All the paper there is open sources. You can download those for free. Okay. All right. For the secondary sources, one step removed from from the primary sources. Well, usually they may give you the same information, but they covers more, like adding a layer of interpretation or analysis. Okay, so most of the textbooks, okay, you might consider is the secondary sources, okay, or the analysis or interpretation of the data. So they don't show you the raw data. It's just doing like a analysis or a statistic already and share that to you. So that it will consider as secondary sources. And also there's some articles about the specific topics. Also the documentaries also be considered as the secondary sources. Okay, so this is a lot of ways we can reach out to them, like internet, like YouTube, online magazines, right? All right, so after you know how to collect the data and you actually collect those and study on that, so it's time to organize everything you know into a statement about your problem and questions, and write a procedures that examine every step you take in carrying out your experience. Okay, so first I would like to talk about a little bit about the hypothesis. So in this scientific context, so the hypothesis is the textable statement about the relations between two or more variables or proposed explanations for some observed phenomena. Okay, so in a scientific experiment or study, the hypothesis is a brief summations of the research predictions of the findings. Okay, so yeah, all right. So on the bottom, I shows a flow chart that may help you to know well about the scientific research methods. So it's starting from like result questions, and then you can do the background research, and then they might form a hypothesis for you. Okay, and you will test this hypothesis with experiment or the data you collected, and then you analyze the result based on the previous step. Okay, so if the result is like have the same result as your hypothesis, that's great, awesome. So you can report your scientific result to the public. Otherwise, but this part is happen more often that they will give you a reject hypothesis. So the result is not aligned with what you expected, right? So in that case, you need to think and try again. So this loop may run a lot before you actually get the right result. So every iteration, you need to modify your hypothesis, okay, until you get the right result. OK， 对，我就大概介绍一下，这里边呢，就是我大概理解的，根据我的理解呢，就是对于这个科学就是实验的方法的一个基本的流程了。大家可以看，就是从提问到背景研究，到提出假说，对吧？到通过实验来去做这个认证，再进行分析，对吧？到最后如果这个最后的结果跟我们的这个假设不一致，那我们要不断的修正这个假设，一直到我们最后的结果是满足这个假设为止的。然后呢，如果得到了好的这个数据呢，我们就可以来发表了。就是总体的一个基本的这个 research 的一个流程了。Okay. Well, here you might see that beside of the experiment, they may have other way to collect the data, either through the survey or interviews or your personal observations, right? So due to time, I don't want to go more detail on that, but you can actually see this. Each different methods can help you to collect the sufficient data. All right, so this is a pretty important part, and it's always be omitted by some students. So you need to keep a scientific notebook from day one when you actually get starting of your project. Okay, so this is important. Most of the science fair, when you do the presentation or your judge evaluate your work, they need to check your scientific notebook. If you don't have those if you don't have it, they may have a big question mark. Is this the work done by yourself, right? So for each of your scientific notebook, I shows like what's the part you need to cover, right? So this also be great for yourself to organize your thought, right? And also organize all the information you collected, right? So you can also using that to help you to get the right data. So on the right, I show some example. You might write this on by hand, right? So just like the one shown on the left, or you can also draw some pictures, help you to design your experience. Or also for some of the software related research, you can also do the digital version, right? So you can all the raw data, you might collect this and paste that in your notebook. Okay. Also the charts you draw, or say you got based on the data, you can also attach it to your notebook. Okay. So this notebook can be like a physical notebook, or it can be a digital one, depending on your actual project. All right. So next, I would like to show you some of my experience as a judge of the science fairs. Here is some major criteria, or say the rubrics that each judge will follow up to give you the final score. So they might different between the science fair and also the category. So this is the one used in the science related categories. So you can see that it's always starting from originality, or say creativity, right? So that will be the essential part to judge each project. So if they have a novel idea, or well, they may get a very high score in this area, or if this is a new approach to the existing idea, it's also great, but it's not that high as a novel idea. Okay, and also they have some other part like a scientific thought, background research, and hypothesis, right? So the judge will want to say is like a thoughtful, in depth, or say well writing hypothesis. So you need to modify your hypothesis all the time. And also the judge will check the experimental design, or the way you collect the data, right? And also the notebook. So this is the way that you need to show to each judge. And also the data analysis and conclusion part is also important to your result. Okay, and also there's a part about your presentation itself, also including the interviews, right? So last year, since it's hosting online, they don't have a physical presentation, but we have like individual interviews for each student with the like a judge committee. All right, so here is some questions that judge might ask about to you. So you can just say like, how did you come up with the idea for this project? Why you want to like have a research about this area, right? How long you spend on this project, right? How do the data support your hypothesis? What the background research did you conduct? What you ever learned from this project, or this the whole procedures? Okay. Okay. So next, anyone help you with this project? Okay. So maybe this is a solo project or it's a group project, you need to be honest. Okay, or someone help you, like your parent help you, you need to be honest. Okay, and also they said, does this project have any practical application? You might have one, but if you don't have one, you can also be honest, say, okay, so far I don't go that far, but in my opinion, they might try the different approaches. Okay, all right, so this is what I want to share. So, okay, after you're done with your research and study, you may need to present that to the judge and audience, just I just said. So there's a different format of presentation. So I will leave this part to Dr. Trevor Chen. So since he's a AP seminar and AP research instructors, so it's expert that he helped hundreds of students to finish their research report and papers. Okay, so now let's me to leave the floor back to Ms. Lee.
Thank you, Dr. Yu, for your detailed introduction. Under the leadership of Mr. Wei, Principal Zhang, and Dr. Yu's entire faculty, we will start full science research related courses from October 5th to March 25th, and just in time to attend the science fair directly after the class. If students interested in our project, you can request an application form directly from IVMax. 好，我用中文总结一下哈，就是谢谢那个于老师刚刚所说的这些很重要的一个讯息。那我们有在秋天的时候开设相关的课程，是从10月5号开始到3月25号。那上完了这个一连续的课程之后呢，我们马上就可以参加这个 Science Fair。所以如果说感兴趣的同学跟家长，记得跟我们的这个老师们可以索取报名表。Next, let's welcome Dr. Chen, who is currently a College Board certified instructor for AP seminar and research, well-published author and seasoned researcher. Now, Dr. Chen will help us to introduce how to prepare for attend the science fair in advance and present your children's research efficiently. Welcome to Dr. Chen.
Thank you very much. Hey, thanks. There's only 8 minutes left. How long do you want me to go? Do you need more time at the end, or do you want me to go all 8 minutes?
10 minutes is okay.
Oh, so I can go over until 7:33. Okay. Yeah. So I have 10 minutes. I'm gonna tell you guys how this research process is done. 现在只剩下10分钟了，我跟各位很快解释一下这个研究的程序。Notice here in the oral presentation, the poster presentation, and the written paper, these 3 assignments can be used for both, not just science fair, but also for FRIP research programs, as well as AP research. 接下来这3种口头上报告、poster 海报上的报告，或是写作的报告，不只可以用来做 science fair，也可以用来做在 AP research 的课，还有这个FRIP 或是 research 的 program. Next page, please. Thank you. Okay. Abstract, 1 page. You have to sum up your entire project so that anyone should be able to read that paragraph and know the essence of what you have done. 这个第一个要开头是一个 abstract， 就是一段话，把你的这个重点，整个 project 的重点都写在一段里面，这样子任何人的读者可以很快的一目了然，了解你大概做了哪些的事情。Next page, please. Okay. Title and abstract. 上面有一个title and abstract. It should include these things: name, day, affiliation. But the title can be a bit clever to attract attention. Again, everything that I'm going to tell you can be applied to AP research, can be applied to FRIP or other research program, and as well as science fair. 再度强调一遍，接下来讲的程序可以用在 science fair、AP research 的 project 跟这个FRIP 的 research program。当然要写你的名字，跟这个 这个重要的一些资料。主题呢可以很back to the same page please back to the page 主题可以用一种聪明的方法很快的解释。Next page please thank you. Introduction, you have to provide background and use what other people have done to set up your current project and explain why those things are missing a part of a gap in terms of knowledge or procedure and what you can contribute in there. Again, you can mention your hypothesis. 第一段在介绍的时候讲过去的背景，把过去的背景总和，讲一下说为什么过去的背景set up 就是使你要做现在的这个 project. Next page, please. Thank you. Method, process, or approach. Now, this will depend on your project. Now, whether if it's science, you call this method. If it's engineering, you can call this process or approach. In this session, whether it's poster, whether it's paper or oral presentation, you have to give enough information so that anyone should be able to do what you have done, including just enough details in material, participants, design, data collection, and also justify why you are using a certain method or process or approach. Let me translate. 第二段讲的是，第一段是介绍，第二段是方法。这个方法基本上来说，你要给足够的细节，这样子说，任何人听了或看了你的方法，就应该大概的了解你做了哪些事情。他们如果要重复做你做的事情，应该有足够的资讯。比如说，如果你是科学，有测试哪些东西；如果你要做是 engineering， 你是如何做出你这个的 engineering 的东西。Next page, please. Results, products, or findings. This will depend on your specific project. Let's use STEM as an example. If it's a scientific project, you should call this results. If it's a project that involves some type of engineering or technological inventions, then you can call this products or findings. In this session, if it's a scientific project, you have to present your results. Quantitative or qualitative. You can use charts, you can use tables, depending on which type of data analysis procedure is the best at summarizing your results. Now, if it's an engineering project or a technology project, let's say you have some type of invention, you need to show your products. If it's something that can be shown with visual, can be video, it can be pictures, something auditory, or you can even include a blueprint of your design layout so that the readers or the judges have a pretty good idea of what the product is and what it's used for and why it was designed in a certain way. Okay, let me translate. 结果这一段呢，从第一段介绍，第二段方法或程序，第三段就是所谓的结果或是product， 就是最后做出来的东西。这第三段呢，就要看你是做哪一种 project。如果是科学，那就要讲结果。结果可以用不同的图像或是不同的table， 不同的这个表把它给列出来，看哪种方法最好把你的结果总结起来，让别人一目了然。如果是 engineering 或是科技上的发明，你可以看是有没有什么视觉的相片，或是 video， 或是做出哪些。如果比如说音乐，你可以用听的，甚至于你可以把你的设计的计划的这个计划原版把它给呈现出来。这样子不管是 judges 在 science fair 的 judge， 或是 AP research 的grader， 或是some type of program evaluator， 他们一看就知道说，哎，科学这是你的结果。如果是工程，哎，你这个到底是什么样的一种产品 ？Next page, please. Next, discussion, analysis, or evaluation. You have to mention the significance, how you interpret the results, and make a connection to other people's work. Translation. 最后没问题。最后我会再回去这个 introduction 的那一页。这一段，如果你是科学，你可以叫结果；如果是engineering， 你可以来做一个评价。你找到了哪些东西？这些东西有多重要？这些东西跟别人做的东西有什么关系 ？Next page, please. I apologize. I only have 2 minutes, so I'm gonna go fast. 不好意思，我只剩下2分钟了。Last section, conclusion and future directions in terms of science or engineering products. You want to think back to your introduction and see how well you have addressed your hypothesis. And if it's engineering, what can those products for? Are there any theoretical implication? Are there any real-life practical applications? Are there any limitations or drawback to your project? Because no single method is perfect as long as you acknowledge them. And what are some of the future directions? Translation. 最后一段，非常抱歉，只剩下2分钟。
春老师，您慢慢讲没关系。对，我们还有时间的，您慢慢说。对，
非常抱歉，因为
家长说能不能够等一下显示一下 introduction 的那一页？等一下您讲完之后，
没问题，我在两三分钟讲完。因为不好意思，下面他们帮我排了另外一个meeting。
OK， 好的。
不过我的 meeting 是7点40分，我很快2分钟讲后
，5分钟讲完没关系，慢慢讲。
5分钟讲完吗？5分钟讲完吗？
对5分钟，讲慢一点点。对。
OK， 不好意思。OK， so translation 最后一段是个结论。这最后一段呢，不管是你的科学或是你的工程，基本上这一段都很像。你如果是科学，你说哎呀，你当初测试的原理，最后测试的怎么样？总结一下，这个大纲再重新复习一下。而我们学到了哪些东西？从这个 project 的里面有什么？请问老师有没有回放电视屏？电视屏这个可能会这个需要问 director Isabel。非常抱歉。那这个有什么？没有任何的方法是完美的。你做任何的 research 的方法，只要不完美没有关系，只要说像这些有什么可进步的地方。好，科学的话，理论上有什么学到的东西？真实生活上可以应用在哪些东西？像这个魏老师以前刚才1小时前所讲的，如何怎么应用来，希望可以帮助别人。未来还有哪些方向？你的未来的方向可以不用做，不过你起码要讲一些你未来的方向，表示说科学或是科研或是工程是一个不停的，就是不停继续的一个程序。Back to English. In any case, whether it's scientific result, you can mention practical, theoretical implications, engineering, practical applications. Both cases, future research. You don't have to do the future research. But at the end, you want to mention some potential directions. That way, to show the judges or the graders that science or engineering is a never-ending process. We're a part of this journey. And then the ending, you can end it in a powerful way. You can end it in a clever way. Here's when you show your creativity a little bit. 可以最后结尾可以发挥你的创作力。Next page, please. I got 2 minutes. Last, you want to acknowledge those who help you along the way. 最后一段要多谢别人。Next page. For poster, same idea that we just mentioned. 做这个海报，基本上你看这些的大纲都是一样。Abstract introduction, method, result, discussion. Next page, please. A poster. On the left is what it should be, on the right is what it should not be. 这个做海报，左边应该这样，右边不应该这样。各位欢迎可以分析一下。Next page, please. This here is an example of a poster. 这个是一个做海报的一个举例。Next page, please. Another example. Notice how the important sections are well put there, well designed there, so that any judges can take a look at it. They even have graphs and even have picture as an example. A very well designed poster that can be used. 你看你们这个是一个举例，设计的非常的漂亮。 Next page, please. 下一页 please. Next page. Is this the last page?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I have 1 more minute. I just want to end by saying that this the topic of this workshop is about how to create projects. Now, there's a whole field on the psychology of creativity that I don't have time to get into. But basically speaking, in real basic, if it's some type of science project, you can save yourself time and resources by coming up with a project that, regardless of whichever result come up, it will be informative. Now, if it's an engineering type of project, usually it's a combination of ideas. Just like about 90% of things in history that were created brilliantly will actually come from a combination of ideas. So like use chemistry as an analogy. If everything here is made of chemical elements, if you want to create something new, either you discover new chemical elements, or you combine the elements in a new way so that they have synergistic properties. I will end this by saying this: experience is the building block of imagination. Experience is the building block of imagination. If you can combine and recombine them, that's where it leads to creative ideas or projects throughout history for most of the time. 最后要总结的也就是说，我们回到一开始的这个 talk 的主题，如何创作东西。创作心理学是一个很大门的一个学问。现在只剩下1分钟了，我也没有时间多解释。总而言之，把这个最基本的事情来解释一下。如果是科学的 project 的话，你如果可以设计一个方法，说不管结果是 A 或是 B， 都有趣的这个程度，那这个是一个方法。如果今天是一个 engineering 或是科技上要创作的一些东西，大部分的历史上的创作出来的东西，基本上是把不同的主义结合再重新结合，就像化学一样，全世界任何东西都是用化学原子所做成的。你要创作新的东西，化学上有2个方法，你可以找出新的东西，也许10%的机会，或是你把现在有的化学因素结合再重结合，使它们结合出来会有一种新的改变或新的转变。然后呢，经验是创作想象的基本积木，所以说希望你拥有不同的经验，多看不同的方向，然后把它结合起来，希望可以把它结合出来一个新的方向。也许这个主意、这个经验、这个主意、这个经验不是新的，可是你用个新的结合起来，可能会有一种新的不同的转变。希望各位多看、多听、多想、多经验、多结合，多谢各位。
好的，我们非常感谢 Dr. 陈详细的介绍。那现在也把 PPT 放回到 Introduction 这一页，所以家长如果需要看的话，可以现在看一下。其实呢 College Board 目前也有开设这种专门在培养科研能力的学分课程哦，就像 AP Seminar 跟 AP Research 就是这种课程。我们的 Dr. 陈老师目前在教授 AP Seminar 跟 AP Research 的课程，如果这2门课程学完之后能够拿到 AP Capstone 的认证，这个对科研还有大学申请都是非常有帮助的。Thank you, Dr. Chen, for your detailed introduction. Finally, thank you for attending to today's workshop, and thank you, CASPA, for the cooperation with us. We will have a more and a better educational information shared with you on every Fridays in the future. Have a nice weekend. Thank you, everyone.
如果不介意的话，我花几秒钟。这个 Dr. 陈是非常谦虚，所以他自己没介绍自己这方面的这个成绩。那我跟所有的家长和学生分享一下，今年 Dr. 陈他有14个 AP Research 的学生。那这14个学生里面呢，有1个学生是决定在这个考试期间不考了，因为他太忙了那这位学生最后是被耶鲁大学录取了，所以马上秋后要去上耶鲁大学，所以他在忙其他的这个活动的事情，他没有时间准备考试，所以他决定不考，所以他除掉了，还有13个。那13个里面呢，参加考试的13位学生，有1个也是被 Stanford 提前录取的，所以呢，他虽然成绩很好，这个科研方面做的成就也非常的大，但是他考试非常的不认真。我听 Dr. 陈说最后考了2分，所以他是没通过的。 其他的12个学生里面只有1个没通过，11个，所以实际上12个学生里面11个拿到 AP Capstone Diploma， 这个在全国的这个 ratio， 我觉得是最高的，是超过90%的，所以一般拿到 AP Capstone 的这个比例在50%，所以 Dr. 陈最新这一季的这个 Capstone 的学生是高于90%的这个成功率，非常了不起的啊！再次谢谢 Dr. 陈这个非常用心的教导我们的学生怎么样去做科研，而且怎么样把这个科研报告写好。好，谢谢大家。
多谢魏老师，非常感谢魏老师所讲的。希望各位做了 research 以后呢，不只用在 Science Fair， 也可以用在 FRIP Research Program， 再用在 AP Research， 这样一石三鸟。多谢魏老师，谢谢。
好，最后我想回复一下家长，就是说今天如果没有看到我们视频的话，你们可以没有参加到我们讲座的话，可以去看一下回放视频哦。那我们会把今天的讲座 workshop 放在YouTube 上面，那请大家直接搜寻 Ivy Max Media Center 就可以了，搜寻得到，大概需要2-3天的时间给我们放上去。那我们非常感谢今天所有老师还有 Kaspa， Thank you， Bye。
Thank you，
拜拜。
Bye。